Welcome back to Coffee Break with the Chamber Chicks. I'm Kayla, and today I'm sitting here with Beth Truelove, and we are going to dive into a big question. If not the chamber, then who? We're pulling back the curtain on the high-impact work that your chamber does, from tackling housing and talent development to driving business growth and creating a seat at the table for every stakeholder. It's all about building a stronger and more vibrant White County together. So grab your favorite cup of coffee and let's talk about how the chamber makes it all happen. All right, Beth, so let's just jump right into it. So let's start with the big picture. What makes the chamber such an essential part of White County's success, and how does it serve both the businesses and our community as a whole?
So a good chamber in any community is going to be reflective of the people. So it is our goal, our mission, our drive to really understand what the businesses need in our community and then work to fix those. I love our little nickname for ourselves. We're problem solvers. If you saw our little TikTok video,
they call us Vanilla Ice because if there was a problem, we'll solve it.
But we do, I think, I get excited when we have like a big challenge in the community for the businesses, because if there's a challenge for a business in one business, it's probably a challenge for multiple businesses. Mm-hmm. And if it's a challenge for multiple businesses, it's a challenge for our labor force, for our community, and for our government. So it's important that we kind of be that connector. I like to think of us as the table where everybody sits.
I love that.
Right? It is. It's like we're that table where everybody comes together. I will, as a disclaimer, say we may not always have the solution, but we probably know the people who do. So we will work to put the right people at the right places. So yeah, that's like the big thing about the chamber.
So the chamber obviously takes a leadership role in a way in addressing some community needs. So tell us about the kind of long-range planning, how our long-range plan for the chamber guides our efforts to shape the future in the community.
Absolutely. So we don't shoot from the hip. We don't do anything just because. We try to make data-driven decisions, try to have very structured plans. We're not showing up every day just figuring out what to do next. We have goals and plans. And we start with a very long-range plan. We, in 2019, brought together a whole bunch of stakeholders from the community, everything from business owners to governments to utilities, school systems, the people who live in our community, nonprofits, everybody who make White County run. We brought those guys together and say, hey, what do you think White County should look like in 10 years? What do you want it to look like? So, and taking all that into account, we put together some programming of how we can start shaping where we eventually end up being based on what the people who lived here want to see. And those people who are engaged in our community, those people who have a stake in what we are doing as a people, they help shape the direction that we have, that we're taking for the next 10 years.
So how do we use this plan to ensure that we stay focused on meaningful progress? Believe it or not, we don't just make funny videos all day. How do we use this plan?
There is method to our madness. I will say we do take the most fun you've ever have doing business. We take that to heart because we love the people we get to work with.
But that's a two-part thing: having fun and doing business
and getting things done.
We do both things. Have fun, get things done. That's our new motto, also.
We do, and I mean, you're going to do this. You think about work and producing things, services or products. You're going to be doing that the greater portion of your life. You should enjoy what you're doing, making sure it's, profitable for our community, profitable for your family. That's what we want. It's the same for us. We want to enjoy the work that we do. So anyway, big plan is we take that big picture and then we narrow it down into steps that we can manageably take, right? It's eating that elephant one bite at a time. So you have to kind of make a plan. Once you have the big, scary goals, then you have to break it down and how do you get there? Mm-hmm. And that's where we use our strategic planning.
So, planning for the future, and in our strategic plan, there's a lot of different facets to that.
So many things.
One of them is housing. So that's a hot topic for which we will actually talk more about soon in some of our upcoming podcasts. We're going to dive a little deeper into housing. But how is the Chamber working to address the need for market-appropriate housing in White County? So and tell us what market appropriate.
I'm going to explain what market appropriate means. Market appropriate housing is what does the community need to fill the gap? What's appropriate for the market that we live in? What is appropriate for White County? You'll hear a lot of people throw around a lot of terms that are just ethereal. I mean, like you can't really explain what some of these terms are because they're different for different people.
And what terms do you mean, Beth?
Yeah, I'm not going to say it because I've eliminated it from my vocabulary. I will. Okay, you will never for this one time.
This is a one-time only event, folks.
Take me up on it now. This will be the only time you hear me say the term affordable housing because affordable for different people are different things. So we're going to take that out of our vernacular. We're not going to use that. We're going to talk about what's appropriate for our community, and that means
which is less subjective.
Not at all subjective.
Right.
We have data that shows what types of housing are missing from our housing product, what type of housing our community is asking for. Those are things, and my job is to take care of White County. It's not take care of all of Georgia. Mm-hmm. So I can really focus on what White County needs, and that is where we're unique to a lot of other organizations like the Department of Community Affairs. But we can, on a state and local level, bring our governments together to make sure, bring our developers together to make sure that we're making a path forward so that no matter what stage of life you are in White County, there's a place for you to live. If you are just graduated high school and you went straight to work, we're going to have a place for you to live. If you're in college and you've graduated college and now you're moving out and you need your first place, we want to have a place for you to live. If you're a young family, we want to have a place for you to live. If you're middle-aged and you're raising a family, place for you to live. If you're retired, we're going to have a place for you to live. So we look at that entire life cycle so that no matter where you are, there's something that will...
What is... the term that Rote calls it, is it a ladder of housing or a pipeline of housing? I like the way that he says it, that you move through stages.
Yeah,
There's not a one, not everyone needs to live in a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. There's a progression, there's a pipeline.
There is a progression of what you need in a different place you are in your life. Gone are the days of folks like me who've lived in the same house for 30 years. I mean, it's rare. It's just rare. People move around. People need different things. So we want to make sure that there's an option. If you were born here, I want to make sure that there's a house for you when you're ready to move into some sort of lodging. And that's our goal with that. And I'm not going to take a 30,000-foot view of that. I'm going to say, this is what we're missing. We've done the math. We've pulled the data. We found that we have far more 3-bedroom, 2-bath houses than a community like ours really needs. So we started to work with where would be appropriate for developing different housing. It's very important that our school systems understand that we're not out here just building developments to build developments. That's not good for anybody, because if you overwhelm an elementary school, then they just don't have room to put kids. I mean, we saw it in Gwinnett County 30 years ago. Their schools were bringing in these trailers and there was no place for kids to have a classroom. That is not what we want. That's why the table is so important, right? When you do things in a silo, you don't think about how that impacts your water system. How does that impact your school system? How does that impact your roads department? You might need to have a road that is more sustainable for more traffic, less traffic. So there's a lot of things that go into housing. It's more than just build an apartment.
Yeah. I think that's what, like you're talking about being in silo, so many people don't understand. They think, okay, well, this is my business and this is all that impacts my business. And that is far from the
patently
truth.
untrue.
And so that's kind of our job as the chamber, is to bust the silo open and to be like, actually, no, like this is not, none of this is.
But the
is
great
what's
thing
happening.
about White County is it's fairly easy for us to sit down at a table and understand each other's challenges and each other's opportunities. And so we make sure as an organization, our organization, we want to bring those people together and have those conversations.
Hey everyone, it's Robin with the Chamber. Ladies, mark your calendars for Chamber's Pearls of Wisdom, Women in Business, presented by America's Best Secured Storage. Join us on Galentine's Day, February 13th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Meadows at Mossy Creek for brunch, professional headshots, designer purse raffle, and inspiring speakers, all designed to help you grow and connect with other amazing women. Don't wait. Visit whitecountychamber.org to get your tickets now.
So, with our growing businesses in our community, how is the chamber helping to create opportunities for talent development and job readiness in our community? What does that look like?
So this one's near and dear to my heart, and I know we love this. And it's taken a lot of people. This is probably taken.
This is the thing not done in a silo too.
This is, so you just start with what you have, right? And our school system, y'all, having an amazing school system like we have is such a blessing. I have, over the last year, I've traveled all over the United States talking about what we're doing in workforce development and talent development, and other communities, big communities, small communities, medium-sized, they all go, oh my gosh, how do you get this done? And it's our school system. Our school system is so open and willing to address challenges, not only for the people who live here, but for the businesses. Because when our people have good skills, they can have great jobs at great businesses. As our businesses grow, our people can develop in their skills. They become more prosperous. Our whole entire community changes when we have a skilled and talented labor pool, a participatory labor pool, people that get up in the morning, go to work, and make not only their family lives better, but our whole community is better when we have that. So talent development, it's a big thing to do. And a lot of times some chambers won't take it on because it's that daunting. But we have great partners around. Our school system, the Georgia Mountain Regional Commission and WorkSource Georgia, great partners. Our technical colleges, our state government is so focused on talent development. They're willing to listen to any thought, idea, program that we have. The state of Georgia and their support of the technical college system of Georgia and the Hope funded programs, 17 Hope funded programs. You don't need to take out a student loan to go back to school to get some kind of skill set training at North Georgia Tech. And we just want to make sure people know that the more skills you have, the more profitable you are, the better your life and the life of your family is. And so it's been a lot of partners come together on that. The businesses have been great. Our focus when we work on or talk about talent development is that we're asking the businesses to really just break down what sort of skills you really need. And think about, is a 4-year degree actually necessary for the job that you're hiring for? Are there skills we can train to get people started in an industry, and then skills that we can train to build onto that? And so that there is a mobility within our community for people to grow.
And talking about skills that you can train, we're not just talking about in college or even in high school. You know, we are working with our elementary schools, with our even preschools. The elementary schools, do you want to talk a little bit about their leadership things they've got going on?
Big shout out to Mount Yona Elementary. Love you guys. So they just had their kickoff last week of a training called Leader in Me. And I don't know, I guess every generation does it. And you go, those lazy teenagers, right? Well, there are some employability skills that our school system has says we're gonna take up the banner on that, and we're gonna teach those. And I am just so proud of Mount Yona Elementary School. You little bears, you go. They have started a program called Leader in Me, and they take the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which is a Stephen Covey book, and they put it into practice for shorter adults, right?
Tiny people.
Our little friends. But it's a buy-in by that whole entire school. I was there for their kickoff training, and I mean, everybody in that school was there. Administrative staff, front office staff, teachers, everybody was in that room, and they are committed to making sure our kids have basic character building stuff. And I think it's just amazing. Personally, I think that's the job of a parent. But somewhere along the line, we got off that track, and that's okay. But, you can...
Well, not really, but...
That's opinion. Take that for what it's worth. Not the opinion of me, not the opinion of the chamber. But
I love that because, if you don't work on... Well, not saying, the school, but, like, if we don't try to do anything with the kids until they get to high school and then teach them about character or leadership or responsibility, like, it's too late. And so I think that's really cool. Like you said, even though, personally we believe that, you still gotta, from a parent perspective,
and that's the great
leverage it. But I think that's so exciting that the schools are willing to lead that charge too.
I mean, absolutely amazing. And that's another part of this particular training. I mean, there's probably, I'm not in the education system, but I would imagine there's a ton of character development training available to our school systems. But this one requires parent involvement.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
And so the trend is it's not getting better, right? So we have to start somewhere. And kudos to our friends at Mount Yona for saying, let it be me.
Yeah.
A volunteer's tribute.
Love it.
Do we cover all that? Okay. Oh my gosh. So industry-specific training programs. The state has things like apprenticeship programs. We're starting an internship program with businesses in White County to make sure our local students have an opportunity to understand what businesses and what jobs are available here at home. Because for a long time...
Internships are not just available in Gainesville.
That's true. For a long time... And it's not a White County thing. It's not a Georgia thing. It is most any rural community. People sent their kids to school and they said, grow up, go to college, and don't come back here. And what a terrible thing. I want my children to live here and raise their families here. And so I think other people probably want that too. So we're trying to make sure that there's a way that our kids... You guys, if you're paying property taxes, you're spending a lot of money to educate these children only to have them go live somewhere else.
Yeah, why do you want to invest all that money and then,
I don't know,
ship off amazing children to other places?
But it shows the students what types of jobs. And I think we have a lot of adults here that don't understand what types of jobs. I mean, we're not a big manufacturing community. We don't look like Detroit, Michigan, and that's why we probably don't live. If we like that, we'd go move and live in Detroit, Michigan. But we live here for very specific reasons. But there are some absolutely amazing jobs here, and we just want to make sure that people understand that. I had the best time this summer. Oh my gosh, can't talk about that?
Yeah.
So this summer... Speaking of how amazing our school is, Craig Turner, you're the best. Our CTAE program at the high school, amazing. Kathy London, Craig Turner, Marianne Collier, you guys are rocking it. All those teachers, Mark, everybody, all those teachers over there doing a great job. But we had the opportunity this summer to take about 40 teachers, and we took them to different businesses to show them how what they're teaching is applied in the workforce. And we did things like we talked about, we went to several utilities. We talked about how solar energy is created. We talked about a lot of environmental sciences. We talked about chemistry. We talked about physics. We had some pre-K teachers, which I absolutely loved, that went with us. We were in a warehouse, and how important sorting skills are that they're teaching in pre-K apply in the job field. So So I think it's just, it would help me if I were a teacher to understand that what I'm teaching in this moment has a real world use for that student.
Because that's a reality. I mean, I remember like being in high school and like, there's a hard math lesson you're learning or whatever, and inevitably someone goes, when am I ever going to use this? And so, like, sometimes, some things are pretty specific, yes, but there's some things that in the moment when you're in school, you don't realize that this actually translates into something else.
It translates into your ability to earn a living and earn a wage. And
not even, like you were talking about with going to all the different utilities and stuff, and you're talking about the different sciences and stuff. It's not like you have to go get a degree to be in some of these jobs. Like some of these jobs, yes, but some of them, it's simple things that you may learn in high school that are carrying over into working at Georgia Power or HEMC or our friends at Infinite Energy Advisors and their solar company. So there's a lot of things that people think, oh, well, the science stuff, like, I'm not going to go get a degree. And, well, that's not really what we're talking about.
You don't have to have a degree. And the thing is, all of those skills build on each other. So even though, so maybe you're not going to be the lead engineer for Georgia Power planning, the total grid for Georgia, but you can start at Georgia Power and really have a great path for growing with that organization. It's a great opportunity because those skills build on each other. You have to start somewhere, right? Yeah. And let's do it while we have them.
Yeah, love it.
So we've talked a lot about talent development.
Yeah,
sorry about that.
Sorry.
We love it so much.
We're so passionate about it.
Here's the other thing we love.
So beyond workforce development, talent development, White County as a whole, we're known for a couple of things. We're known for a unique mix of farming and agriculture and also tourism. So how do we at the Chamber balance supporting these two major industries while also maintaining our amazing quality of life?
Listen, I love it. I love it so much. I tell people we export two things, food and fun.
So fun.
I love it. So agriculture, number one industry for White County. I mean, I could not replace the value of exports in agriculture with any other industry. But the great thing about the value in agriculture exports that we have, that dollar value that we have, is the quality of life that comes with it. People move here for the beautiful trees and the mountains. You love those cows at the Indian Mountain.
That's right. They're the most photographed cows in Georgia.
They are the most photographed cows in Georgia. And there's a reason why. It's beautiful. We love it. We love to see the horizon. The only way you keep that view of the horizon is through agriculture. If you chop it up and you break it up into subdivisions, you're going to lose it. It will never come back. So you have to be very careful about how you protect the right to farm, how you manage people living near farming operations, but it just contributes so significantly to what we love about White County. And our farmers are great stewards of our environments. I mean, they take care of the land, they take care of the they take care of the animals, they take care of the water. They take care of the air. Farming is just a great, sustainable industry, and we have it in spades here. And so we have to be very careful not to squander this amazing asset that we have. What you tack on to that is tourism. Because we love it, guess what? People who live in big cities who don't get to see the horizon, they also love it. Listen, those people who came up from Atlanta to see that snow in Helen this weekend, they had the best time of their lives. Yeah. You would have thought it was Christmas all over again. I mean.
And it really was in Helen because they were still decorated. I know. So they felt like they had a white Christmas.
Helen, you look so pretty.
I know, it's so pretty.
So pretty. So it's just a natural evolution is tourism. Because people don't live on farms anymore. They don't get to see an entire beautifully lush green pasture of dairy cows. You don't just drive through that in Woodstock, right? So they flock to come see us. They love the river. They love the mountains. They love the trees. They love the views. That's why our wineries do so well. Our wineries are the absolute amazing best mix of agriculture and tourism. They do such a good job. And just that balance of the vineyards and the attractor that they are for tourism, that's that sweet spot where we can really be significant. Adds a little money to our export. They come here, they spend their money, they buy goods, they stay overnight, they eat in your restaurants.
Which saves our folks a lot of money. People don't think about that.
You don't. Because they pay sales tax on all of that, and then they go home. And guess what happens to that sales tax?
Stays here.
You as a community get to use it to pave your roads. You get to use it to build your pickleball courts. You get to use it. Did I go too far? You get to use it to build your.
One of my favorite statistics is that because of tourism spending, it saves every White County household over $1,500 in your state and local taxes. I mean, that's pretty significant.
Every year.
Yes, every year. That's awesome.
And so, we might get a little frustrated in October when the traffic's a little hairy. But you know what? I think that's a pretty good give and take.
Price to pay for $1,500 off your taxes.
Slow down. Scoot through scooters, grab yourself a coffee.
Scoot all around.
and just relax. And, it happens a couple times a year. We'll be okay. But tourism does do a good job of alleviating the tax burden of our people. Our numbers indicate that about between 65 and 69% of the sales taxes that we are able to keep in our communities are generated through people who don't have a White County address. Those are people who are the tourists that are coming up and staying overnight in our short-term rentals. They're staying in our hotels, our cabins. They're also people who live in Lumpkin County that are swinging through because we have an Aldi. Right?
So Habersham.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to Bobby Aycock and his weekly Aldi run.
Yes, we know. We see you, Bobby. We see your Habersham County tag at Aldi. But we consider that a tourist dollar because
a tourist is just really a temporary taxpayer, regardless of if they're driving from Atlanta and staying 2 nights a week, or if they live in Claremont and are coming to the Walmart.
Right.
That's still a temporary taxpayer.
Listen, Claremont, we see you. You come on.
Thank you.
Y'all come on. Y'all come have supper with us at Clyde's. We're here for it. Yeah. We'll meet you there. Lula, we know you're shopping here. We appreciate it.
She's in the room with us. So looking at...
we're so off track.
I know. Sorry, I drank my coffee and I got distracted. Looking ahead, what are some of the key projects, key initiatives, things that we're working on at the Chamber this year to ensure that our community that we love so dearly continues to thrive?
Oh, amazing, amazing. I think the best thing about this job is we never do it alone. It's always in partnership with someone.
How many times have I said it takes a village in this podcast? I don't know, probably 12.
You are not in business alone, and we're here to help you find the people who help you make that path smoother. So to that end, some of the goals that we have are changes to infrastructure. We had conversation this week with our broadband providers, our internet providers, on how we can help them get funding. We go to DC every year to have conversations to how the federal government can help develop internet access to our communities up here in White County. And shout out to Tom O'Brien, because probably 15 years ago or more, he had the vision to say we need to put in a fiber backbone, because without that, we wouldn't be in the place we are now to be able to get last mile. And for those of you with great internet access, you know what I'm talking about. And those without great internet access, you also know what I'm talking about.
Unfortunately, on the other end of the spectrum, though.
So we are working with our utilities on that broadband expansion. The state of Georgia has some great opportunities. We're just working through those, making sure that our organizations that are here in White County have representation. So that's a good one. We will always fight for the little guy. We are always working on common sense small business policy. one of the things we heard from the governor on Tuesday, one of the things that he wants to see is just eliminating some red tape. How can we make doing business easy for the business owner? So there are things that we found during COVID that he was able, because of the state of emergency, that the governor could limit a lot of the regulation around some businesses. Real estate was one of them. Before, you had to do closings in person. Now we were doing drive-through closings. So we found during COVID that we didn't have to have all these steps that you have to do. We could sort of pare things down, make things a little more efficient, easier to do business. Big win for small business there. About talent, the economic mobility of our people is crucial. I want whoever's out there listening, I want you to be able to get a job, grow your skills, get a better job, grow more skills. I want that for you. I want that for your children. I want that for everybody. I want it for my children. So that's a big focus of the chamber. That economic mobility of our people, really, really crucial. That is that's a quality of life we can't possibly buy. We still advocate on a state and federal level for any sort of grants that are available to across the state, across the nation. Shout out to the city of Cleveland. Thank you so much for looping us in when those guys needed a big fire truck so that we could do some new and creative development in downtown Cleveland. They let us help, and we were able to secure some letters of support and help them attain a grant for a nice big fire truck that the people of White County, the people of Cleveland, y'all didn't have to pay for that directly. So we are super excited about those opportunities. We're always looking for those opportunities. And then it's that collaborative work that we always do. If we had not had that relationship with the city of Cleveland, they would have never called us to help. Mm-hmm. We've never had that opportunity to support such a great effort that saved the people of Cleveland so much money. So we will continue to focus on that collaborative nature between all the stakeholders, the businesses, government entities, nonprofits, and our education system.
One thing that I'm really excited for this year, even though it's not an initiative, is I'm really excited about our Women in Business this year. Yes. We started our Pearls of Wisdom Women in Business event last year, and that's just been really cool to see the women in business rally together. Like, y'all don't understand. If you weren't there last year, by the end of the day, many of you still don't understand, because if you had gone home, by the time that everyone left and Beth and I were there, we were just literally crying.
Bawling. Y'all are the best.
It was so beautiful to see all of our women come together, women from all different industries, all different walks of life, people who'd been in there, maybe they've been out of college for 2 years, or people who were, 80 years old and had been in business their whole life running things. And so that was so neat to see everyone come together and really support each other. And goes back to, like you said, that nature of collaborative spirit. We had all sorts of people there, and I just loved that so much. And so, and to just provide an outlet for our women in business to support each other and to hear about other people's struggles and be like, okay, well, I'm not alone. Like,
you're not alone. I promise.
Like we said, it takes a village. You're not in a silo. That is apparently the mantra of this show. But so, like, that was just so special to me, and so I'm so excited about that next month.
I know. It's coming up February 13th.
So fun. Galentine's Day. You know that we love Leslie. Nope.
We love some park and rec.
So I'm going to be straight up with you. It was totally based off the fact that Leslie Knope held a Galentine's party.
The menu is based on
You're going to love this Women in Business. So if you're a lady, you need to make sure you got a ticket.
Get your tickets.
If you're a man, send every lady in your office, because one, how rude of you if you don't. That's just
the
rude.
Unmitigated goal.
Second, I probably sent them an invitation, so they're probably going to ask you anyways. Sorry. Okay.
Not sorry.
Not sorry. But send them because like it just
Oh
I
my
think
gosh.
I think no matter what your role is, like we had, people who were the owners of major companies all the way to administrative assistants to private like individual contractors to
CEOs. We had the whole gamut.
We
And
had
it's
so
such
much.
It's such a great day for young women to see that there's a community around them. Because sometimes we get lost in, you feel like you're the only one. I think that's probably a little more true the more rural you are. Guys, it's not that we don't love you. We do. We do. We really do. You're amazing. But sometimes you just need a girl day.
Yeah. And it was just
And all the pink.
It was, yes, also wear your pink. And also I just have to say this because my favorite thing that happened last year was when Carol, I will say this forever.
I love this.
Carol Jackson said in the panel, yeah, I just had a headache for so long. And I was like, where is this going? And then she said, and it was from breaking that glass ceiling so many times. And I was like, iconic, legendary. Like, she is amazing. And so that was so inspiring for, to talk about all the different struggles and things that she faced over the course of her life and then as a woman in business.
And how amazing she's doing. And I mean, how she just did not stop fighting for her family. I mean, bless her heart. Death of her husband, having to take over the trucking company, her parents' illnesses. I mean, she's a fighter. And I think we all need somebody like that in our life. And it was a moment where if you don't regularly have somebody like that in your life, it was a moment where you had that. And we can sort of give and take in that same day. But it was beautiful. I mean, we were so exhausted from all the fun, but it
was the absolute most rewarding moment of the year, probably. So.
Yeah, it was a beautiful thing.
So yeah, shameless plug. I've talked about that long enough, but you don't want to miss it. If
I don't know. I don't think you have talked about it long enough. Let's talk about more.
You don't want to miss it. Go get a ticket. WhiteCountyChamber.org. We'll have amazing speakers, brunch.
Yeah, the
headshots.
brunch.
I mean, we have so much.
So much stuff.
Anyways, we'll get back on track. Okay, last thing that we got going on.
Ooh.
For anyone listening, anyone who wants to get involved in the chamber, learn more about what we're doing, what steps can they take to support what we're doing and get involved?
Oh, absolutely. So first and foremost, we're a membership-driven organization. Invest in your chamber. We have so many ways to invest in the chamber. We have our benefits package is tailored to what you need. What do you need for your business to grow? So we have a lot of options. We have committees you can serve on. If you don't have time to do a committee, we have task forces you can serve on. If you have absolutely no more than about 15 minutes, if I email you a survey, please just answer it. Because we need to know what impacts your business. The more we understand about what helps your business grow, the more we can work to that end to make sure that, because again, if it's a problem with your business, it's probably a problem with somebody else's business.
And we'll solve it.
That's right. We've had
Check out the hook while my DJ.
Okay. Well, I mean, like the housing thing. So far, we've got about 200 different housing units, either out of the ground or coming out of the ground. Everything from 3-bedroom, 2-bath, single family, townhomes, every price point imaginable, different square footages. So,
and that's the thing, because it's not. I think people think the chamber, like, events. Like, that's like the smallest part
of what we do.
Because behind the scenes, the thing you don't see is the talent development, the housing development,
the advocacy.
Like whether we're at DC or the state capitol or at the Board of Commissioners, like, that's maybe the things that you don't think of, like, off the top of your head, because you see, funny videos on Facebook, or you see, events or whatever. But the things that we absolutely are killing is the things that it's like, if not the chamber, then who? Who else is going to be able to do that? Without sounding arrogant. But, like, there's not another organization that is, like, has their hand in so many different facets, because all of it affects our businesses.
All of it affects your business. Local advocacy affects your business. And your county commissioners, your city council, your Helen Commission, your Board of Education, those guys, your authorities, those guys want what's best for the community because they live here. But we don't know all things, right? I don't know all things. I'm never going to expect an elected official to know all things. But it's okay for the chamber to be that connection where they can come and say, hey, I don't understand how this law affects other businesses. So it's really breaking that silo, helping them understand. And that's why we sit there. I mean, we sit at every meeting listening to what's going on so that we can be open to those folks and let them know that we're here if they have a question. And the more you tell us about what works for you, the more you can be working on your business, and we can be helping create the environment that helps it grow.
Mm-hmm. We got anything else you need to add?
I mean, holy cow. I guess my
covered a
biggest
lot
thing is
of
like,
bases.
answer my email. That'd be great.
Well, I'm out of coffee, so
Oh, for heck's
let's
sake.
go fill up. So
She didn't even bring me any.
rude.
The nerve.
Well, thanks for joining us on this episode of Coffee Break with the Chamber Chicks, and we'll see you next time. See you, love you, bye.
Bye.